Hello, everybody, and this is the 75-gallon tank in my bedroom. And this tank has always been algae problems. Well, I finally got rid of the algae, and I've decided I need a tank to farm Jungle Val. My 29-gallon tank. In my last video, I showed me pulling out the rest of Jungle Val that was in there. Here it is right here. And because that tank turned into a crypt farm. So what we're going to do here is take out all this moss and put it in the moss pond, and we're going to get this jungle val planted. But we have another mission. We have to dig out all but one or two of these plecos that are in here. When I had my pond that was right here, I had all kinds of plecos in there. And this tank, I enjoyed this tank so much, but now it's got like 8, 9, 10 great big huge old plecos because I didn't have anywhere to put them. I'll tell that story later in the video. And this tank has been a disaster ever since I added all these plecos, and I was really enjoying it before I added the plecos. Now I love plecos. I love them with keeping them with my shrimp, but and you got tons of great big ones, they kind of wreck the tank. So we're going to plot all this moss, and ultimately, like I said, we're going to turn this tank into a Jungle Val farm. And I've learned a lesson about Jungle Val and peroxide. All that to come in this video. Let's get started. So I love having moss in this great big tank. However, this tank is always plagued with some algae issues. It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. But what my solution to algae, I got sick of it being full of algae, and I always treat with peroxide, and I got really upset and aggravated with it, and I went a little overboard. And something I've discovered with Jungle Val and the peroxide treatment for algae is if you do too much, you're going to melt the tops of the plants off. Now, the roots will be fine, as you'll see here. I melted all my Jungle Val down to almost nothing, but they're already grown back. So, we're going to try not to do that again. And the shrimp you see in here this will be a new Skittles mix I will be adding to my website here shortly. And it is, I love the Skittles mix. It is my blue jelly coals or resets, my red coals from resets, and from my various red really projects that I have going on for making my own red really line. I've managed to get quite a few shrimps in here, and this has been going for a while, and I think I'm going to really enjoy this. I also need a Jungle Val farm for the website. And so the algae that this tank deals with is always a pain in the butt with the moss. But you'll see here, this is perfectly clean. It's a little, I put so much peroxide in here, I even bleached the moss a little bit. But look at all the shrimp in here. That'll be the fun thing to see when they're breeding like mad in here. It's going to be super fun to see how many shrimp are in here, because when you got this much moss, so we will be harvesting all this moss for the website. All this moss will be going in the moss pond, and then we're going to get all that Jungle Val in there, and hopefully this Jungle Val that's in here already grows back nice and healthily. And then we're going to get to see all these shrimp, and then we're going to try to catch the plecos out. I am guessing we're going to have to drain like 90% or more of the water out to catch these plecos in here, and we're going to make a mess, and then we're going to have to put the tank back together again after catching the plecos. So this will be a journey. So I'll go ahead and get this moss taken care of. All right, so we got rid of the moss, and this is what we got. Look at how many shrimps are in here. That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's lots and lots of shrimpies in here. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is, I don't want to take out all the plecos because I like having one or two in here, but we're going to try to thin out the herd some. Now, I really don't want to have to take water out, but you know, these plecos, these full-grown adults, are super a super big pain in the butt. So let me tell you how I ended up with, in my last video, I put a whole bunch of albino great big plecos outside in a tub, and the ones I catch out of here are going to go out there too, because back before COVID hit, right around the time it was just starting to hit, I was selling my shrimp wholesale. Well, the guy I was selling to, he had a local little fish store, and then he also had mail order, which was mainly shrimps. So I was selling the shrimps for the mail order, and then I set up a pleco breeding operation, and he was selling little albinos and chocolate plecos I was breeding. I was breeding them by the hundreds and hundreds, and he was selling those in the fish store. Well, then COVID hit, and the fish store part of it was closed, of course, for COVID. And so then I had a whole pleco operation just for providing this guy with plecos for his fish store, and I got stuck with them. Now, of course, this was over 4 years ago that this went down. So all the plecos are little ones are runts, I'm sure, because I haven't bred these guys on purpose for a long, long time. So there might be a few babies here and there that make it, but not that many. So I want to try to catch as many of these guys out as possible, especially the big ones that dig stuff up and make a mess, and always make this tank a cloudy mess. And I like to put food out and get all the shrimp gathered up in one spot. But when you have all these big, ugly, well, they're not ugly. When you have all these big plecos, anytime you put food out, it's just a madness. It's just a madness. So that's how I ended up with all these big plecos that I really don't want. And I have a buddy, Scott, in Alabama. He probably bought over 150 of them back then when he was still young. But now, all these years later, I'm stuck with all these big old plecos. All right. let's see what we're going to do with these guys. We're going to try to catch out the ones I can, and then we'll see how that goes. And if I can't catch them by hand, then we might have to take water out of the tank, and I really don't want to do that. So let's see what kind of luck we have catching these guys. There's too many of them in here. Too many. All right. Let's see how catching plecos goes. I'm guessing not good. Oh, God. See, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. Hey, look at that. We got one. Now, if I can, I'm going to try to grab him before he can get caught up in the net. Come on. And he just jumped out, and now he's in between it. All right. See that? And that was a little one. That was one of the ones wasn't that little, but oh God, let's see. This is one I don't actually mind keeping in here, that little one. Hey, look at that. That one was kind of easy to catch. All right, that ended up not being so bad. The process, because that's where they always wanted to go. I was afraid they were going to drain the water out and pull the filter out. I was taking my little 3D shrimp net and poking the handle in the corner, scaring them out and swooping them up with my big net right there. All right, so I'm going to do a great big water change here to get this cleared up some. And I don't think I got them all, but we definitely cleared them out some. So there's a little guy. That guy's all right. And I actually like having one in there. All right, so now let's go put these guys outside. So you can see there, the albinos are in the other tank. And the chocolates that we just caught are in there. All right, so that is the last of the unwanted COVID plecos I've been dealing with for 4 years. So if anyone is interested in adult plecos, because these cannot live outside, I have to figure out something. I got to get rid of them before it gets cold out. So anyone interested in plecos, reach out to me. Most of the albino ones are males, and most, if not all, of the chocolate ones are females. That was kind of weird how that worked out, but all right, let's do our great big water change. All right, so I guess I'm gonna plant the Jungle Val that we got out of the guppy tank, the 29-gallon guppy tank, when we converted it into just a crypt tank, crypt farm. Oh, I gotta get it. So I need to dedicate a lot of space to make Jungle Val available on the website. Start over here. Val always looks like crap when you first plant it. And then she fills in real nice. You just want to get the roots buried. You don't want to bury the whole thing too much. Let's see. So this tank is just going to be for the valve for the plants. Now, look what we found. I found a little baby crypt. I think we can allow a crypt in here. I think we can allow it. Let's see. How about right there, smack dab in the middle? More towards the front, though. Because we're going to let Val have most of this tank. It's been buried. It was buried underneath a big mat of Val. Little baby Florida sunset crypt. I guess we'll allow it. Maybe we'll put some over here. Maybe we'll do that. And here is what we ended up with. Just gonna let that Val go crazy. And we learned a lesson. The good thing was going a little bit crazy with hydrogen peroxide did indeed clean the moss. That moss was perfect. There's a little bit of algae right there. That's the only algae I've seen at all in the entire tank. And there might have been a few bits up there on the spray bar, but the moss was 100% clean. But this is the price we paid. We melded all of that Val all the way down to nothing, but every single bit of it's growing right back. So lucked out on that one. So if you're going to use peroxide and you got Val, don't get crazy with it. And then we got the shrimp. Look at all the shrimp in here. Look at all of them. So I know there's more than just the one little pleco in here. They're hiding really good. So what I'm going to do, we're going to put out some algae wafers. And if I need to, I'll catch plecos. And then we'll get a good look at all the shrimp in here. There's a lot. And here's what we got. Look at all these pretty shrimp. That's pretty sweet. I knew it was very tricky to mix. But I think this is probably the best combination of mixing colors that you're going to get. Because I make red realies by mixing. I've noticed there's been a few dark blue ones popping up. I've never seen that before, so I mix them with some higher grade reds in there. Got some dark blues popping up. There is a great big monster pleco we missed, but and a couple little ones. Like they're not really in a super urgent mood to go to the food. So all my red really extras go in here, all my blue jelly extras go in here, and all my red extras. And I have a couple really projects, so that one's cool, interesting, different. You can get some blue red realies popping up in here. Really good one right there. He'll move. Get out of the way, you big red dummy. Well, he's not going to cooperate for a good picture, but that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That one's kind of a blue-red, really. There it is, right there. I guess he ain't got really so much red on his tail, but that is a cool-looking shrimp. I do like that one. That one's super cool. All right, so now we harvested loads and loads of moss, but to get it super clean, I overdid it. And so our planter with the Jungle Val kind of got decimated, but it's all sprouting back, so nothing to worry about eventually. And then the 29-gallon guppy tank that we converted into Florida Sunset Crypt tank. So eventually I'm just going to let the Jungle Val have this. And we found a stunted Florida Sunset Crypt buried in a big clump of Jungle Val. So 75-gallon cool shrimp mix, Jungle Val farm, and we got rid of the plecos. So I consider this little project a success. Now, look at this. When I was working on this, it's feeding time for these guys. Got some bonus footage. This is making me so happy right now. There's little babies in here. There's, is that a baby right there? It is. Just a little teeny tiny. Look at him. He's so cute. They're so cute. I've counted up to like 12. So I think there was one with a pretty decent batch of eggs that was buried when I put it in here. Then there's a couple more that only had a few eggs. And I've seen a few more newly buried ones. And so they are doing super good. New tank in the bedroom. This is the orange really for the orange realies outside. And when I cleared out the Bloody Mary pond, I found a little piece of bacopa that I'm gonna try to keep going and propagating here. Orange realies. So the new tanks are all doing good. The red realies and the blue jelly tank down here on the floor. All my junk for doing this project's in the way though. So there you have it. A day in my bedroom. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.